Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I'm rising pursuant to Order 12 of our rules to move for a suspension of floor privileges to enable us admit strangers into the hallowed chamber. And this is with respect to newly elected senators who need to be sworn in, and they're here with their relatives and well-wishers. I so move, Mr. President.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I rise to call the motion moved by the Senate leader that we suspend our rule to allow strangers to come into the chamber. I hereby second.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we do apply our Rule 12 of our standing orders to suspend the floor privileges to enable strangers to approach the hallowed chambers. Those in support of this motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Sergeant at Arms, please bring in strangers into the chambers for the next item.
Wait, Ima.
Okay. And then announce in the chamber.
Okay. Please, distinguished senators, distinguished colleagues, resume your seats. Order, please resume your seats. Distinguished Senator Mustapha, resume your seat. The chamber is ready for business, sir.
Okay. No, I'm maintaining my lane.
Distinguished colleagues, let me, on behalf of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, welcome our new colleagues to be as they prepare to take their oath of allegiance to the Nigerian people and the Nigerian Constitution as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have Senator-elect Ikpea Joseph Igabe from Edo Central, taking the place of distinguished Senator Okpebolo, who is now a performing governor of Edo State in the All Progressives Congress. We have distinguished Senator Nwachukwu Emmanuel Chibuzo, taking the place of our late colleague from Anambra South Senatorial District, very amiable distinguished Senator Ifeanyi of blessed memory. Again, he was of the All Progressives Congress. But Senator Chibuzo is of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA. We welcome you. We have moved a motion to allow strangers to approach the hallowed chambers of the Nigerian Senate because of you. And it's not usual, but we have some political timbers and caterpillars amongst your entourage. So let me start from Chief James Ibori, former governor of Delta State, a political colossus, a leader of leaders, an amiable character, a man we all admire and respect. Sir, you are welcome to the chambers of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, we don't clap here. We would have given you a standing ovation. Then we have also the brother of one of our senators-elect here, a distinguished businessman, Dr. Liman Ikpea, who is the senior brother of one of those we are swearing in today. Dr. Liman, you are welcome to the chambers. We have a former deputy governor of Edo State, and he's also the director general of the Nigerian Institute of Sports, grooming young ones for the future. Right? His Excellency Shuaibu is a known face, and I hope the former chief servant of Edo State is here. Adam Toshimola, you should be smiling. Okay. So one of your words, he learned under the leader, Adam Toshimola. So you're happy to see him here. Thank you. So you're all welcome with all the other members, including the women. We welcome you so that you will not say that the Senate President does not like women. So we welcome you also. Sergeant at Arms, are you ready? Clerk of the Senate. We're starting with distinguished. Do we go two of them at the same time? Or we take one after the other? Huh? Together. Okay, so sorry, just a minute. Just a minute. Clerk, approach the chair. Where is the pen? Pen for me to sign. Where am I supposed to?
in your true color.
Distinguished colleagues, whilst our new colleagues are exchanging banters, please note that they are here on a daily basis for the next 2 years or so. So let me use this opportunity to also recognize the presence in the Hallowed Chamber of the national leader of ABGA, who is here to also support his new senator. Congratulations. And of course, leading members of the National Assembly, past and present, is Honorable Osage. Honorable Osage is here, a member of the House of Representatives and others. So we also welcome you. So for the newly sworn-in senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on behalf of your colleagues, on behalf of the leadership, we welcome you. The Senate is a family, the most elite club in the world. So you are welcome to the prestigious club of the Nigerian Senate. All over the world, at any border post that you introduce yourself as a senator, you are given the right respect. So we congratulate you on your election and congratulate members of your family for their prayers and their support. And congratulate your states, your senatorial districts that gave you this sacred mandate to come and join this hallowed chamber to serve. Today, you have been called to national duty. Today, you are no longer a senator of your political party. You are a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Once you step into this chamber, you drop your party outside and come in here as a senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the intention of carrying out and contributing to debates and other functions here as a nationalist and keeping Nigeria constantly in mind. Your colleagues who have been here will continue to assist you so that you get used to the nuances of proceedings of lawmaking. I must say that we have given you 2 items today. One is the Nigerian Constitution, which you must try to imbibe the contents. It's not just a ceremony. It's to let you know that is the ground norm and that all our authority in this hallowed chamber comes through the Nigerian Constitution. The second one that we have given you, which you must start reading from today, is the Senate Standing Orders 2023 as amended. The content will show you the proceedings. Because sometimes, if you are new and you come in, you may not know why we do certain things at certain times. And if the presiding officer should tell you that you are ruled out of order, please don't be angry. It's because you have breached a section of the standing rules of the Senate. And that is what gives us discipline. And that is what gives us order. That is what makes us distinguished. It distinguishes us from others. If you have been in the House of Assembly before, the Senate is slightly different. because what is contained in what we have given you now is different from what you were used to. So please take time to go through it, and God will guide you. Finally, let me thank those who came with you. High expectations, they wish you well, and they're happy they elected you. Both friends and, and foes alike are expecting a lot from you. So may God help you, may God guide you as you deliver the dividends of democracy to your various constituencies. Congratulations once again, and for all of us, welcome. Our leaders, thank you so much for visiting us today. May God continue to keep you, guide you, grant you most wisdom, and above all, protect you and your families. Thank you for coming. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, most distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I'm rising to move that the suspended rules under 12 be now restored for us to continue with the business of the day. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that the relevant orders be restored to enable Senate to continue in plenary.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded that the sanctity of the hallowed chamber of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Nigerian Senate, be restored, and that all strangers should exit the chambers. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Announcements.
All strangers should please leave immediately. The sanctity of the chambers have been restored. All strangers should leave immediately. The sanctity of the chambers have been restored. This honorable, I forgot his name. What is strangers should take leave of the chambers. The sanctity of the chambers has been restored.
Okay. Distinguished colleagues, let me acknowledge the presence of members of the Committee on Independent Constitutional Bodies of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, who are in the gallery to observe today's proceedings. Yes, so we have Honorable Mahama Ayariga as the chairman. We have Honorable Isaiah Ashai Odametin, and we have Honorable Geoffrey Kinney. We have Honorable Laurentia Ziwonu. We have Honorable Akwashi Gimfi Onyina Achampong. We have Mrs. Gifty Gobo, who is the principal assistant clerk. I want to wish you very fruitful observation of today's proceedings of the Nigerian Senate and joining mercies back to Ghana. You may be seated. Distinguished colleagues, let me also acknowledge the presence of staff of Stivitas Imperium Limited in Abuja. They are in the gallery to observe today's proceedings. I want to wish you fruitful observation of the day's proceedings and joining mercies back to your institution. Please, you may be seated. This is chamber announcement of the public presentation of books in commemoration of the 60th birthday anniversary of the Director General of National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies. The book presenter and the distinguished guests at the occasion will be the Vice President of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima GCON. The President of the Senate will be the chief host, and the event is scheduled to hold on Thursday, 16th day of October, 2025 at Transcorp Hilton Hotel, Abuja. Time 1 p.m. He requests all senators to please honor him by attending. There will be a courtesy call on the President of the Senate today by the Ambassador of the Russian Federation to Nigeria, Andrei Podolyshev, to discuss opportunities on bilateral issues that will mutually benefit the two federations, the Federation of Russia and the Federation of Nigeria. All senators, if possible, but particularly members of the leadership, are expected to attend. This will be in the office of the President of the Senate by 3 p.m. from the clerk of the Senate. Accept his esteemed regards. From the office of the clerk of the Senate, benchmarking visit to National Assembly by members of the committee. Okay. On independent constitutional bodies of the Parliament of Ghana. So we had recognized their presence, but it's just trying to mention the reason for the visit. So in view of this, committee chairman on the Independent National Electoral Commission and Committee on Rules and Business, the ad hoc committee on electoral matters, Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions, the chairman, Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, and Legal Matters, are expected to attend a brief meeting with them in the office of Deputy Senate President in his conference room 204. The time coincides with the Russian Federation, 3 p.m., but you can even do it earlier since they are already here. This is from the clerk of the Senate, so there will be serious interaction or interactive session with our colleagues from the Republic of Ghana in room 204, immediately after the plenary. Correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, requests for the resolution of the National Assembly to implement new external borrowings in the 2025 appropriation, in the 2025 Appropriation Act, to refinance maturing Eurobonds and to issue debut sovereign sukuk in the international capital market. The purpose of this letter is to seek a resolution of the Nigerian Senate pursuant to the provisions of Section 21, subsection 1 and 27, subsection 1 of the Debt Management Office Establishment, etc. Act 2003 to implement the new external borrowings of about 1,843,669,786,987 naira 16 kobo, equivalent of 1,229,113,000 United States dollars at the budget exchange rate of USD $1 to 1,500 naira. In the 2025 Appropriation Act for the part financing of the deficit in the 2025 budget. This refinance will mature on November 21, 2025. Access aggregate external capital of USD 2.3 billion, USD 1.2 billion actually, and another USD 1.1 billion through any of the following options in the international capital market: issuance of Eurobonds, loan syndications, bridge finance facility from book runners, and direct borrowing from international financial institutions. Issue a standalone debut sovereign sukuk of up to 500 million euros in the ICM, with or without credit enhancement. Enhancement in this case refers to guarantee. It's quite long, but I'm sure the committee will go through all. It includes the indicative terms and conditions for external capital borrowings, issuance of standalone debit. Conclusion. Based on the foregoing, I respectfully request the distinguished Senate to pass a resolution. 1. To raise external capital in the sum of $2.3 billion, comprising new external borrowing in the 2025 Appropriation Act, USD 1.2 billion, and refinancing of maturing Eurobonds of $1.1 billion through any of the following options: through the Eurobonds bridge finance facility from book runners, loan syndication, direct borrowing from international financial institutions. Finally, to issue a debut standalone sovereign sukuk of up to $500 million, with or without credit enhancement from the Islamic Cooperation for the issuance of investment and export credit. A specimen of the resolutions required is attached to these annexures. While I look forward to the timely issuance of the resolutions by the Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest regards. This is signed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Well, with the attachments, this is referred to the Committee on Local and Foreign Debts to revert to the Senate. Do I give time? Senator Wamako. Senator Wamako. 1 week to revert to the Senate in 1 week. I've been informed that on the gallery, we have members of the demised colleague of ours, distinguished Senator Ewuga, who are here to observe the eulogies expected from Senator Onawo, Ogochi. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Confirmation of appointment of chairman and members of the board of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 8, Subsection 1 of the Nigerian Communications Commission Act 2003, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the underlisted 9 persons as chairman and members of the board of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC. Idris Olorun Nibe. You please pardon me if I didn't get that very correct. But I can spell the name for you. Then you pronounce it on my behalf. But it's actually Idris Olorun Nibe. I got it? Thank you. As the chairman, Dr. Aminu Maida as the vice chairman, Abraham Oshidami as commissioner, Remini Makama as commissioner, Haja Miriam Bayi as commissioner, Colonel Abdul Wahab Lawal as commissioner, Senator Lekon Mustafa as commissioner, Honorable Chris Okorie as commissioner, Princess Ofori Senenara Emiko as commissioner. While it is my hope that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner, please accept the distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration and personal regards. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Communications to revert to the Senate in 2 weeks. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Confirmation of appointment of commissioners for the Federal Civil Service Commission. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of the underlisted 2 persons as commissioners of the Federal Civil Service Commission. They are Honorable Eda Hobon Williams Omorege, Commissioner, who is on his 2nd term from Edo State, Professor Mbia Gabriel, Commissioner from Benue State, while hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominees in the usual expeditious manner. Please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest considerations. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Establishment to revert to the Senate in 1 week. This is a further correspondence from Mr. President, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, President of the Senate, National Assembly Complex, distinguished Senate President, request for confirmation of appointment of the chairman, Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA. In accordance with the provisions of Section 2, Subsection 3 of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA Act 2007, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Nigerian Senate the appointment of Dr. Musa Babayo as the chairman of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA. Whilst hoping that this request will receive the expeditious consideration of the Nigerian Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. This is referred to the Committee on FEMA to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Don't mind, these correspondences are coming because we just resumed. We're on 2 weeks, 2 months, almost 2 months break, which is our annual vacation. That's why it will look like the business of government was stalled. So we have to work very fast to make sure that these appointees take their offices for the will of progress of the nation to move forward. Distinguished Senate President, confirmation appointment of Chairman, National Population Commission. In accordance with the provisions of Section 154, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Dr. Aminu Yusuf as Chairman of the National Population Commission, MPC. Whilst hoping that this request will receive expeditious consideration of the Nigerian Senate, please accept, distinguished Senate President and distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest considerations. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on National Identity Card and National Population to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Request for confirmation of appointments of resident electoral commissioner. In compliance with the provisions of Section 154, Subsection 1 of the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 as amended, I am pleased to forward for confirmation by the Nigerian Senate the appointment of Professor Taylor Adeniran Raymond as resident electoral commissioner, representing Oyo State at the Independent National Electoral Commission, while hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in its usual expeditious manner. Please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is dated 3rd day of October, 2025. This is referred to the Committee on INEC to refer to the Senate in 1 week because of the nature of the appointment and the timeline for the upcoming elections. Further correspondence from Mr. President. Distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, request for confirmation of the appointment of independent director of the Board of Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 7, Subsection 1, F, and 4 of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC Act 2023. I am pleased to present for confirmation by the Senate the appointment of Mrs. Peggy Ufanima Onwu as Independent Director of the Board of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. Whilst hoping that the Senate will consider and confirm the nominee in its usual expeditious manner, please accept, distinguished Senate President, the assurances of my highest consideration. Yours sincerely, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President, Commander-in-Chief, Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is referred to the Committee on Banking, Insurance, and other financial institutions to revert to the Senate in 1 week. Distinguished colleagues, this is one of the most important announcements, and then I'll pack up the era of announcements. Distinguished colleagues, I have a letter here that will change the tone of the next election in Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria. This is notice of defection from Labour Party to the All Progressives Congress, the only leader, please receive your celebrate and receive your colleague. I have always worried about this the left hand, this other side of the aisle, but I'm no longer worried. If they like, let them all move here. So I'm not worried. I wanted a few of them to remain. Senator Sitangu, a minority leader, Abba Amuro, minority leader. You are the only one left to. Wait. After you will be Senator Abaribe, even from the way his face is set, I don't think Senator Abaribe is ready to join us. No, don't give me any update yet. Your party is in tatters. I don't know what are you waiting for. So, the civil senator, man, look at Abaribe. As soon as I mentioned the word defection, his face got tightened. I will still mention it, no matter how you look at me. You are the only one left there, Senator Abaribe. Even that Bamoro is on his way to join me. This is from the civil senator Kelvin Chuku of the Labour Party. Dear Senate President, I write to formally notify you and my distinguished colleagues in the Nigerian Senate of my decision to resign my membership of the Labour Party and to join the All Progressives Congress. Effective immediately, and with immediate effects. Effective immediately and with immediate effect. This decision was reached after extensive consultations with my constituents in my senatorial district, my political associates, and stakeholders across various levels in Enugu State. Professor Ani, and Senator Mustafa, Senator Mustafa and Professor Ani. I told you this is the most important announcement today. It is a reflection of my commitment to aligning with a platform that works. And I believe I will do better and represent the collective interests of my people better. I'll bring more dividends of democracy. I'll meet the aspirations of the good people of Enugu East Senatorial District and Nigerians at large. Recent developments within the Labour Party, including internal wranglings, leadership crises, policy disagreements, lack of cohesion, lack of direction, lack of focus at both the state and national levels, have made it increasingly difficult for me to effectively discharge my duties to represent my constituents under its banner. Senator Victor Ome, Senator Moye, I hope you know this applies to all of you. These challenges have undermined the core values and principles upon which the Labour Party was initially founded. After careful reflections, I am convinced that the All Progressives Congress, under the leadership of the performing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, provides a more stable, a more progressive, a more inclusive platform for achieving our shared goals of economic growth, good governance, national unity, national cohesion, social development, and progress for the nation called Nigeria. I remain committed to serving the great people of Enugu East Senatorial Zone and the Nigerian people with integrity, with diligence, and patriotism. And I assure you of my continued contributions to the work of the 10th Senate in the service of our fatherland. Accordingly, I hereby join the progressive family in the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please accept the assurances of my highest regards. Yours sincerely, distinguished Senator Kelvin Chukwu, KSJI. If you have more titles, bring. Let me read all of them. The Senator representing Enugu East Senatorial District. Your defection in leaving a chartered house is hereby accepted, noted, and applauded. Leader of the Senate, please accept your nominee. Yes. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, yet again, I'm happy to stand up in this hallowed chamber to congratulate the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and also, Mr. President, to congratulate you as the Chairman of the National Assembly, as well as our colleagues in both the Senate and the House of Reps, who are of the APC extraction. Mr. President, why am I congratulating all of us? It is because what is happening is not just by an accident of history. What is happening is in direct response to the new things happening to Nigeria. Mr. President, the APC-led government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is working. And regardless of what anyone would have thought a year ago or 2 years ago, it is becoming obvious to Nigerians that we are making a difference. The economy has risen from the floor where it had been, and the economy is improving by the day, home and abroad. Prices of goods in the market are showing that this government is working. Our foreign reserve earnings, everything in that regard is showing that this government is working. Nigerians are beginning to see the positive response. Our GDP, Mr. President, is improving. So if you see a distinguished Senator Kelvin Chukwu writing to this Senate, not just to say he was cross-carpeting from Labour Party to APC, but giving the reasons. And please, sir, let us take note of the content of his letter. He didn't just say he was cross-carpeting because of division within the Labour Party, which is a constitutional requirement that he has met. But he's also saying that the party itself is back on the floor and on the ground, and that the party had become disorganized. It is not for me to repeat. It is for each and every one of us to take note of the contents of that letter. And it's for Nigerians to know that a senator elected on the platform of such a party will write that kind of a letter to the Senate. Contents of this letter, again, will be fully included in our votes and proceedings tomorrow. And I implore every one of our colleagues to keep a copy of this letter, not only for our records, as part of public record, but also as part of what we have to exemplify for Nigerians to hear, so that no one is deceived. Mr. President, once again, I congratulate you and all our colleagues here, and I just want to say that we're happy to accept the decision of Senator Kelvin Chukwu and his offer of acceptance given to all of us as a party and as a caucus in this Senate. We look forward to working with him. And while I sympathize with my brother and distinguished colleague, the minority leader, distinguished Senator Abba Moro, who has been such a wonderful person and a gentleman, I want to say that it is not our own making that people on the other aisle will continue, to cross carpet to the popular aisle. It is because they are doing this because, one, every politics is local, and they know what is going on in their communities, and they know the thinking of their people, and they know that it is in overriding public interest that they do what they are doing. We will continue to work with our colleagues in the minority side as more of them also look forward, to joining us, in the majority party. We are all senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I thank you for your leadership and your own style, of relationship. Mr. President, I thank you.
Well, thank you, the leader of the Senate and the leader of the APC caucus in the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My mother used to tell me, Senator Abamoro, my mother said that she would never say that nobody should die in the war, but at the same time, she would never say that heaven should be empty. Because if nobody dies, then heaven will be empty. God created heaven for people to go there after living good lives on earth. I want a strong and vibrant opposition in Nigeria, but where they are not able to organize themselves and all the political parties are in tatters, then the right thing for them to do is to join me and join Mr. President so that we can together move this country forward. We are not going to have one party system. That is why INEC is registering more parties. Please put your house in order. I have been looking at the way you are getting depleted on a daily basis, and I am in total sympathy with what is going on. The PDP is on the ground, the umbrella is torn, the Labour Party is scattered, the Accord Party is no more. ADC crashed. ADC even crashed before it took off. So I would like to give you a right of response, not to lament on the loss of Senator Kelvin Chukwu, but to congratulate my colleagues on this side of the aisle on gaining a strong senatorial district in Enugu, that is Enugu East of Enugu State. Senator Abamoro, do you have anything to say? If you don't have anything to say, we move on. So you have an observation. Please proceed.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, the leader, I want to also thank you for your kind words. Mr. President, I want to say with due respect that you are the President of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I respect you, sir. Mr. President, with due respect and without prejudice to some achievements that Mr. President has made, I want to say that no matter the number that are here, we are capable of holding our own. You said all politics are local. Those who are gravitating towards the majority side are exercising their rights. But my brother and friend, Kevin, who has just left the third row here to go to the last row there, I wish him good luck. But Mr. President, when it was announced that he was going, and he said he had made adequate consultations, I asked a question. Who has he consulted? Because he didn't talk to me. And I do know that because all politics are local, my brother came here on the obedient movement. He came here on the sympathy vote because an accident happened. But that is a story for another day. So, Mr. President, I want to say that this house is becoming too full. and it should be some concern to you. It should be some concern to you. So on that note, I want to say, for the rest of us that are here, Mr. President, we are satisfied that we are still here. And we will try to remain here until 2027. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, if you are waiting to cross over in 2027, no problem. Remain there. Your observations are noted. Leader of the Senate. Yes, point of order.
Point of order.
No, we have yes, Senator, distinguished Senator Ebino Ziaro. Petition is more important now. Proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I am Dino Siaro. I represent Adamawa South. I have a petition from one of my constituents, together with 5 others who are personnel of the Nigerian Navy, who are alleging that they were unjustly dismissed. They are appealing to the Senate to review their case with a view to righting this injustice. With your kind permission, Mr. President, I would like to lay the petition on the table.
Please proceed.
Thank you.
The petition is hereby referred to the Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions to revert to the Senate in 6 weeks. Leader of the Senate.
Point of order.
Your
Excellency.
I'm surprised we had we left an issue yesterday, which was the demise of our colleague, Senator Ewuga. And I don't know who was supposed to move that motion. Huh? Where is he?
He's in the queue. Call him, yeah. Call him.
Your Excellency,
Point of order.
I am standing on Order 41, matters of urgent public importance. And I have previously discussed this with Your Excellency, the President of Senate. It has to do with excruciating security issues in my senatorial district. And with the fear that if it is not quickly curbed, the crisis might engulf the whole of southwest and southern Nigeria. And it is my wish to bring this to the notice of Senate so that urgent decisions and action can be taken to forestall it. Mr. President, may I be permitted to read my motion on this?
The leader, please approach the chair.
Your Excellency, I will move a motion that we do a reordering of business of the day to give respect and permit a motion on the demise of our distinguished Senator Ewuga, giving respect to the family so that we might treat the issue and they could take leave of the chamber. I will therefore call on the distinguished senator, with your permission, if it is accepted by you, distinguished Senator Onawo, to move a motion. I've moved it now.
Minority Leader.
You support it?
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I support the motion that Senate reorders X items on the order paper to give room for the movement of the motion in respect of our deceased colleague. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we reorder all the items on our order paper for the day to give an opportunity for the family of our demised colleague who are in the gallery to depart to go and plan the funeral obsequies. Those in support of the motion and move and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So, Senator Onao Ugochi, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Mr. President. And I want to thank you for your consideration of the situation the family of Senator Ewuga are in. And you're considering they go and make preparations. And I also want to thank you, sir, for recognizing that they have come to the gallery led by his beloved wife, Mrs. Josephine Ewuga, and members of the family. The demise of Senator Solomon Ewuga, CON, on the 23rd September 2025. He was born in June 19th, 1955, and the God Almighty called him on the 23rd September 2025. This Senate notes with deep sense of loss the demise of Senator Solomon Ewuga, CON, my brother, my friend, my political ally, at the age of 70 years. This Senate recalls that he served Nigeria in various capacities with uncommon diligence, integrity, and vision. As a former Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State, Senator of the Federal Republic representing Nasarawa North Senatorial District, Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory, and later a respected elder statesman whose wisdom guided successful administrations in Nasarawa State and the nation at large. This senator recognizes that his distinguished career was marked by selfless service, visionary leadership, and a lifelong commitment to peace, unity, and development of his people, particularly in the area of education, youth empowerment, and infrastructural development. The Senate acknowledges that Senator Ewuga's mentorship of young leaders, promotion of interethnic harmony, and consistent advocacy for good governance made him an icon of public service and a bridge builder within Nasarawa State and beyond. Also acknowledges that he was a leader whose contribution to national development and service to humanity left indelible marks on the political and the socio-economic landscape of Nasarawa State and the nation at large. This Senate is concerned that without a deliberate effort to preserve his legacy, future generations may not fully appreciate his contribution to the growth and stability of the Nigerian Federation. The Senate concludes that Senator Uga was a distinguished patriot, statesman, and public servant whose legacy will continue to inspire generations, and accordingly resolves to observe a minute's silence in his honor, commiserate with the good people of Nasarawa North Senatorial District and the government of Nasarawa State, and particularly his family. Send a condolence delegation to condole with the family and the government of Nasarawa State. I so move, Mr. President, sir. Thank you very much.
This is Senator Abaribe.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Enyin Naya Baribe. I represent Abia South. Solomon Ewuga, great man. He was our colleague in this chamber. But prior to the time that we came to this chamber, I had known him when all of us were elected as deputy governors in 1999. And subsequently, I also knew him when he was a minister of State in the Federal Capital Territory. So he was part of those who actually built up the political system that we are all part of today. He's a great man. We used to call him Mombase here because at the time, he was such a very vocal and an articulate person who pioneered advertisement in the northern part of the country. I think he established a company called as AdPure at that time. He was a wonderful person, consummate politician, and a great humanist. We will miss him, and we ask that God will continue to accept his soul into his kingdom in Jesus' name.
Deputy Senate President.
Distinguished senators, take your seat. It's a very solemn, moment. Solemn and sober moment. Please take your seat.
Time my condolences to the immediate family of late Senator Solomon Ewuga and the people of Nasarawa State, and indeed this August Senate, because he was a member of this August Senate.
Distinguished senators, please resume your seat. It's a very solemn and sober moment.
I came across late Solomon Ewuga was during the inception of the Fourth Republic, when I was a member of the House of Representatives, and he was then the Minister of State for FCT. We worked together. We worked together because we started that term together. I was in the PDP as well. He was also a PDP minister, and we worked together. I met then a man who was very, very friendly, very humble, and very easygoing, and someone who was showing determination at all times to work for the interests of his fatherland. Later on, of course, he came to the Senate here, and he did very well. Everybody that knew him, as said by Senator Abaribe, was articulate and very outspoken. And thereafter, after he left the Senate, he was active at the political terrain of this country, where he was ready at all times to contribute to the development of this country. We've lost a patriot, we lost a friend, a brother, somebody who was very friendly, very outspoken, and you always like to be with him. because someone that was well-read, well-articulated, a lawyer, I think he's a barrister, he was a barrister. He will always come with facts whenever you are discussing with him. Very, very knowledgeable, very, very widely experienced in terms of things, around. He will always make his sound contribution to whatever you are discussing. We've lost him, and the only thing we can do now is to pray and also call on his immediate family and in fact ourselves, because we are all his brothers and friends. And may God give us the fortitude to bear his loss, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Goji.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Mohammed Njimo Goji, representing Gobe Central. Mr. President, I would like to join my colleagues in condoling the family and the people and government of Nasarawa State, and indeed members of these chambers and Nigerians, over the death of one of us, our friend, our brother, Solomon Ewuga. Mr. President, I was with Solomon Ewuga in the first cabinet of President Olusegun Obasanjo. The two of us were ministers of state. He was Minister of State, FCT, and I was Minister of State Power. But prior to that, Solomon Ewuga, I can say, is a person who accommodates, who compromises, who used to compromise in the interest of unity and stability of political system. Initially, he contested for the governorship of Nasarawa State. And when he lost, he was asked to deputize for the winner, Senator Abdullahi Adamu. And then they were sworn in both as deputy governors. But because of the need to stabilize the politics of Nasarawa State, he was prevailed upon to resign as deputy governor and come to the center as a minister of state. And he agreed without any qualms. And while we were together as ministers, he was very active both in the government and in the affairs of the then PDP, because we were all in PDP. And in doing that, Solomon Ewuga was able to mentor so many younger people into politics, some of whom later rose to become ministers, senators, and members of National House of Reps and other senior positions in government. So I'm sure the people of Nasarawa State have lost a leader, a compromiser, a stabilizer. But like the Deputy Senate President said, we have to accept what the Almighty Allah has decided. We have lost him. We pray for him. We pray for his family, and pray that they will have the fortitude to bear the great loss. We have lost our friend, a colleague, and a patriot. Thank you very much.
Senator Abamoro.
Thank you, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, for this privilege. Senator Ewuga comes across to me as a perfect gentleman. He's a good man. And I thank my colleague and brother, Senator Onao, for bringing this matter up. There is time and place for everything, and ordinarily, I want to believe that those who know Ewuga and his contributions to the development of Nasarawa State and Nigeria would wish that at this critical moment in the history of our country, that Senator Ewuga should be alive to give wise counsel on issues that border on the growth and development of Nigeria. But like I said, like our revered Yakub Gowon said, the world is all a stage. We have our entrances and exits. And this is the moment of exit for Senator Ewuga. In Nigeria today, whether in the executive or in the legislature, or even in the social life, people will remember Senator Ewuga as a gentleman, a humanist, a philanthropist, and somebody who has no dull moments in his life. But today, he is with our Lord, and we are happy that everybody that has spoken about him, either as deputy governor or as minister or as senator, is saying that Senator Ewuga is a good man. And for us, particularly from North Central, we are happy that he is one of us. And so I thank God for his life, and I thank all of you here in the Senate who have said very beautiful things about Senator Ewuga, and urge the family to take consolation in the fact that Senator Ewuga lived a very impactful life, a very fruitful life, and hopefully that they can only remember him by living the legacy that he has been known for. And so, Mr. President, I thank you very sincerely for this opportunity and thank the Senate for the good things they have said about Senator Ewuga. Thank you, Mr. President.
Listen, Senator Garba.
Thank you very much, the Senate President. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Garba Musa Maidoki, Senator representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. Distinguished colleagues, I rise to condole with the family of our elder brother, Senator Ewuga. Colleagues, I met Senator Ewuga during Colonel Como's burial. He was the closest person to the family of late General Como. His presence during that burial, by bringing the whole family together, General Como's family, and iron out all these rough edges between the siblings of General Como and the younger brothers and the entire family to follow the same path so that a befitting burial was conducted for General Como. He followed the corpse up to Zuru, where the burial ceremony was conducted. I found him to be a perfect gentleman, a leader par excellence, a person who showed direction for the younger generation. And we are eternally grateful to him for the direction he gave us during the burial of late General Como, Colonel Como. And this will remain everlasting in our mind. I condole the family. I pray to Almighty Allah to give you the perseverance to bear his exit, and I want to enjoy you to live on his legacy. He was a good man, a perfect gentleman, a leader of people, and a pathfinder for the young generation. We will live forever to remember his contribution towards the Zulu people. Are eternally grateful for what he has done for us. Thank you very much, the Senate President.
Senator Lalong.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this privilege. Simon Lalong, representing the people of Plateau South. Mr. President, I've known distinguished Senator Solomon Ewuga, I will say, for the last 30 years, about 30 years. To people of Nasara, I will say that Senator Ewuga is more Plateau than Nasarawa. He went to school in Plateau, secondary school, university. He got appointment, went back, and came back always to Plateau State. To Plateau State. He got married to a Plateau woman. I'm sure all his children were all born in Jos until he left to Abuja. Senator Ewuga was also a very, very keen golfer. As a matter of fact, he was one of those who forced me to start playing golf. And up to the period of his death, he loved game of golf. In politics, I will say that Ewuga encouraged the people of Plateau to move from the former PDP to APC. That Mr. President is utilizing, and even the PDP moving up to APC today. A very, 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 very committed and patriotic Plateau and Nasarawa man, a leader in the North Central, a leader in Northern Nigeria, and a leader in Nigeria. We lost him. Nigeria will regret that Senator Wuga is gone. I am sure for us politicians that he mentored a long time, will be missing him. To the people of Nasarawa State, I extend the condolences of all the people of Plateau State too, on the death of our father, our brother, our elder brother. May his gentle soul rest in peace. And I stand to also support the motion that a strong team be sent to him. And I'm sure if it is not too far, a team to be sent to Plateau for the sake of Senator Ewuga. Because if you go to Nasarawa alone, Plateau will miss him. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you, Mr. President.
Amen. Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, I just want to re-echo what you have all said, that Senator Ewuga saved Nigeria. Like Senator Abaribe said, among the first set of deputy governors in the current republic in 1999, Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He represented Nasarawa North Senatorial District, Minister of State for the Federal Capital Territory. He contributed a lot to the development of the Federal Capital Territory. A bridge builder, a family man, a lover of politics, and of course, a very vocal orator. So let me join you in finality in condoling the members of the family and to say that this loss is a national loss, totally unexpected. But death is something that will come to all. From the day you are born into the world, you have to get prepared for the day you will go. So I want to say, may his soul rest in perfect peace, and may Almighty God grant the family the fortitude to bear this loss. A great loss also to the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which was always his constituency. Because once a senator, you are forever a senator. So we commiserate with the senatorial district he came from, the government of Nasarawa State, and his people. So we go into the prayers. Prayer 1, observe a minute silence in his honor. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, commiserate with the good people of Nasarawa North Senatorial District and the government of Nasarawa State over his demise. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Send a strong delegation to condole with the family and the good people of Nasarawa State. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May I invite the family to stand up for recognition if they are still available in the gallery. Okay, the wife is here with the children. Please accept our condolences and may his soul rest in perfect peace. Distinguished colleagues, can we now rise to observe a minute silence in honor of this great man? The soul of our demised colleague, distinguished Senator Solomon Iwuga, rests in perfect peace.
Point of order. Point of order.
Mr. Senate President.
Point of order.
Mr. Senate President.
Point of order.
I stand to move a motion that we return back to schedule of the day, having given reference to our past senator. I so move.
Point of order, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, I second the motion that we return to the normal order on our order paper and continue plenary. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that we revert to our order paper and as itemized. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Yes.
Point of order.
Now I want us to look at the number of people who have. No, first, Senator Plan. You have been shouting point of order. What order, please? Order 42.
Yes, sir.
That is simple enough. Read.
Okay, sir. The President of the Senate, our leader, distinguished colleagues, I am Senator Dicket Plang, Senator representing Plateau Central. My point of order is Order 42. I know it's very conversant with all of us.
No, but read.
I should read. Okay.
No, read your.
Okay.
Read the order.
Read the order. My point of Order 42 states that personal explanation by the indulgence of the Senate and the leave of the President of the Senate, a senator may make a personal explanation, although there be no question before the Senate, but no controversial matter may be brought forward, nor may debate arise upon the explanation. The terms of the proposed statement shall be submitted in detail to the President of the Senate when his leave is made and it is sought. This is my point of order, sir.
So please proceed.
Okay. President of the Senate and my colleagues, I thank you for the opportunity to bring in a personal explanation. As rightly said, I'm Senator Dicket Plang. My personal explanation is just an opportunity to express my deepest, the last depth of my appreciation to the leadership of the Senate, my very senior colleagues, those that we had the same entry, and if there's any person that came later, I'm looking for the opportunity to say thank you. And it's on the demise of my wife, who died on the 6th of July and was buried on the 25th of July 2025 in Jos. On behalf of myself, my family, including my wife beyond, my in-laws, the good people of Plateau Central Senatorial District, including my leader, the senator from Plateau South, Senator Lalong, and Senator Mwatkon, I wish to express my and our heartfelt appreciation to the President, the Senate President, and Chairman of the National Assembly, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, GCON, for his support, prayers, and participation during the medical treatment, death, and burial of my beloved wife, late Professor Janet Punyit Blanc. Your unwavering support was a blatant example of your leadership abilities and the qualities that make you a kind leader who has a profound awareness and care of the emotions of those around you in any given circumstance. I truly appreciate your support, sir, and I will never take it for granted, my beloved leader, and the peoples and common president of the Senate. I deeply thank the Deputy Senate President, the easygoing leader, Senator Jibril Barau. I thank also the listening Senate leader, Senator Bami Dele, my elders and senior colleagues in the Senate, high-ranking members of the Senate, my entry colleagues in the Senate. I thank you all, and I feel loved. This singular act has pushed me to be more conscious and more responsive. The outpouring of love was extraordinary, and it gave me a strong sense of belonging. We were impacted by your generosity and kindness in many ways, including your visits to the family, your thoughtful gifts and donations, as well as your attendance at the funeral in Jos. I'm really thankful for all of these things, which shall ever remain fresh in our memories and shall remain part of me and my family till death do part us. I want to express my gratitude to the Senate clerk, our dear clerk committee clerks, and our sister Felicia, with all other aides, and the entire Senate staff for their attendance, condolence messages, and kind actions, which gave us so much courage and comfort during our most trying time. My family will be externally thankful to the wife of the Senate President, Dr. Ekaete Akpabio, and all our dear spouses under the auspices of the Senators' Wife Association for their advices, visits, encouragement, and support. As we lay down my wife to rest, your kindness, prayers, and calming words provided us with great comfort, as did your presence at the burial and thoughtful donations and presence. We remain very grateful. Your solidarity is unique and unquantifiable. May the prevailing unity continue to bind our wives together. My late wife, late Professor Janet Blanc, who chaired the Senators' Wife Association's subcommittee on education, had written a book, with our Senate President's wife authoring a chapter in the book before her demise. At the appropriate time, it shall be unveiled with the consent of you all. I thank everyone, and the solidarity accorded to me in particular has no doubt changed my perception about life and further enforced my belief that we need one another in this journey of life. The progressive journey of our nation under the leadership of His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose wife was represented at the funeral by the wife of the Chief of Staff, Mrs. Bajabia Miller. All these have truly meant the world for me and my entire family, bringing a much-needed light into our grief. Thank you for walking this journey with us and reminding us that we are all not alone. We are sincerely grateful for your support and assistance. Your love and care felt not only by my family, but also by the entire people of my constituency, Plateau State, and the Plateau Central, and the entire people of Plateau State. they will not be forgotten. These acts will not be forgotten. May God Almighty bless the 10th Senate, bless each and every constituency of the 10th Senate. May God continue to unite us. May we remain one as we support and as we come together to ensure that this country progress. I thank you so much. I thank you. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Well, distinguished Senator Dicker Plank, you came under Order 42, and it doesn't require debate. But let me, on behalf of my colleagues, also thank you for thanking us. We still mourn the death of your wife. And I must use this opportunity also to note that I've never seen such solidarity before. Almost every member of this Senate was present at the burial of your late wife. The governor of your state was there, the who is who in Nigeria. You are a good man. That is why you saw the outpouring of emotions across the country. Your wife was also a great woman, a philanthropist, a professor who impacted on the lives of the current and future generations. So please be consoled that she lived a good life, and when she left, God gave us the opportunity to be with you. There was no accident, nothing happened to any of us. We came, we solidarized with you, we mourned with you, we celebrated our life, and we all came back hale and hearty. I just want to say that you didn't need to thank us, but since God has put it in your heart to come back and thank us, the Senate is one. The bond of friendship that I saw on that day shows that we are all our brothers' keepers. Injury to one is injury to all. Once again, extend our condolences to your children and the great family of the Planks and your senatorial district, and may our soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you.
Point of order.
Yes, Senator, Senate Leader. Senate Leader was already on his feet.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, I thank you very much for permitting me under Order 41 to present to you the cruciating security problem, not only in my senatorial district, but across many other senatorial districts, especially the senatorial district of my brother, Senator Karimi. And like I said, this matter becomes very urgent because of the fear that if we don't take very urgent action on this, it will definitely spread to other southern senatorial districts. In fact, I was discussing with Senator Fadansi on the sideline yesterday, and he has started that they have started seeing the sign of this issue in their own senatorial district too. So that's why I find it very necessary to bring it to the notice of Senate so that we can quickly do something about it. The local government in my senatorial district that is mostly affected is one of the biggest local governments in the country. And I have the feeling that with much urgency, something must be done, and it must be done very quickly. With my permission, sir, I will briefly go through the urgent need to address insecurity in Kwara South senatorial district and beyond, and particularly in the federal local government area, call for immediate and comprehensive federal intervention. The Senate notes with grave concern the escalating insecurity in Kwara South Senatorial District, especially in the Ifelodun local government area, where bandits attacks, kidnappings, and killing have reached alarming levels in recent weeks, forcing thousands of residents to flee their communities. And I will want the Senate to take note that most of these people who are fleeing, straight away, they are going to Lagos to congest Lagos. And if you are not very careful, this thing will quickly snowball in Lagos State. Further notes that within the last month, no fewer than 12 foreign guards and local vigilante members were killed in an ambush by armed bandits in Okeode, including a traditional ruler, Bale of Ogba Ayo community, and several other traditional and community leaders were among those slain in separate incidents in Babanda, Sagbe, Uruago, Gamu Aleri, in Ifelodun local government, Isin local government, Ekiti local government, and Okeoro local government. Concerned that at least 142 persons have been kidnapped and over 70 killed in the last 12 months across Kwara South, with no fewer than 25 communities deserted due to recurring attacks, leading to severe human displacement and disruption of social and economic life. Farms have been abandoned, roads have become unsafe, local economies are completely paralyzed, and schools have closed, thereby worsening poverty and increasing youth vulnerability to crime. Aware that these attacks are largely perpetrated by foreign armed elements in collaboration with local informants operating from forest adults along Kwara, Kogi State, and Ekiti State boundary axis. While the federal government and security agencies have made some interventions, including sporadic patrols and raids, the responses remain episodic, inadequate, and reactive, leaving vast of ungoverned spaces under the control of the criminal gangs. Disturbed that local security volunteers and vigilantes who serve as first responders in most cases lack adequate equipment, mobility, protection, or insurance, yet continue to sacrifice their lives in defense of their communities. Recognizes that sustaining security in Kwara South, if not urgently addressed, may spread to other parts of North Central State and Southwest political zones, thereby threatening national stability. The Senate therefore resolved to urge the federal government to establish a permanent military base in Kwara South Senatorial District near the forest belt of fellow local government as rapid response up, and mandate the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police to deploy additional troops and special units to clear the forest and return normalcy in the affected communities. Call on NEMA to immediately provide humanitarian relief to displaced persons in the Ifelodun and other affected local government area, and urge the federal government to compensate families of fallen forest guards and vigilantes who died defending their communities. Direct relevant security agencies to identify and prosecute local collaborators aiding bandits' operation in Kwara South and beyond. Mandate the Senate Committee on Defense, Police Affairs, and National Security and Intelligence to undertake on-the-spot assessment of affected areas and report back within 2 weeks. And mandate the Senate to invite the Minister of Defense, Chief of Army Staff, and Inspector General of Police to brief the Senate in plenary on the coordinated federal response to insecurity in Kwara South. Lastly, sir, observe 1 minute of silence in honor of forest guards, vigilantes, traditional leaders, and innocent citizens who lost their life to bandit attacks in Kwara South Senatorial District and Kogi State. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, the leader of the Senate, even though you ambush us, but the matter is urgent. You didn't wait to even get the consent of the Senate, in line with Order 41. But nevertheless, you have moved the motion, so let me get somebody to second the motion. The Senator Karimi had a similar motion, so let him second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My colleagues, my name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. Mr. President, my colleagues, I want to thank the leader, the deputy leader for bringing this motion. The axis bordering Kwara South Senatorial District, Kogi West, and Niger State has become the axis of evil for these criminal elements. Mr. President, in the last 6 months, our people have been under attacks every day. Kidnapping, killing, and looting. In fact, a part of my senatorial district, every part of my senatorial district, all local governments in my senatorial district has been attacked by these people. And they even took over some communities. In fact, one of the commissioners that traveled with my governor to the affected area called me yesterday and said, do you know they have taken over these communities? They did not only take over, our people fled from those communities, and they came, broke down their homes, and took over their homes. That is the situation we find ourselves. Mr. President, one of those guys that was kidnapped and was with the bandit for months, when he was released, he made a statement. It's all over the social media. That the leaders, one of the leaders of the bandits said, your senator, Senator Karimi, he built barrack for soldiers to attack us. Yes, I built barracks, which I financed privately. It cost me a lot of money, just to ensure security of that environment. They said, go and tell him, with his barrack and his soldiers, we are waiting and looking for them. That we have generals in the field here. Mr. President, we've got to do something about it. Yes, the federal government is trying. They are planning to set up the forest guard. It's a noble move. But we need to do something urgently. Some people are benefiting from this. criminality. They may also be planning because they know that they are losing the election already. You know, during 2023 election, some people plan and already brought criminal elements to Nigeria in anticipation that they are going to lose election and that Jonathan will not. No, that was 2015. That Jonathan will not, 2019 I mean to say, will not leave government. But we thank God he left voluntarily. That was 2015. Yeah. Those same people, Mr. President, they are aware that Nigerians, they are now realizing that the good work that President Tinubu is doing and that their plan to stop him, they are not going to succeed. I guess they are resorting into violence. They are resorting into causing mayhem. And we got to move fast and stop them because they are definitely going to lose the election and we will not allow them to bring this country down because of their selfish ambition. Our people are suffering and we got to do something promptly. Thank you, sir.
Senator Adams Oshimole.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I have a terrible voice today. I'd like to, with your permission, commend the mover of this motion for the facts he has stated with regards to what is happening in Kwara State. Like we said earlier, Mr. President, they say injury to one is injury to all. Anything happening to any part of this country affects the whole. But listening to Senator Karimi, it is true that these violent criminals are advancing towards the south. They're doing a lot of damage, as he rightly said, in Kogi State. But they have crossed Kogi to Edo North. And when the mover of this motion talk about the need to establish a military barrack, I was just going to remind him that in Edo North, in Agenebode, we have a military barrack that has been there for more than 15 years. Well equipped. They even deploy people from that barrack to the northeast. And yet, within that local government, we have experienced series of killings, including targeting students in a minor seminary, many of whom have been kidnapped. They are Catholic priests, as well as some of the students. I think it bears reminding the Chief of Army Staff that he has to refocus and give firm instructions to military units, at least to guarantee their area of operation. But I have difficulties with the last part of my Senator Karime's statement about the political aspect. I think we have to be careful not to politicize what obviously is a criminality across the country. My plea, sir, Mr. President, in line with what we've done before, is to keep on reminding our armed forces that the battle is on and they must be seen to consolidate on the gains that have already been achieved. I am very sympathetic to the fact that many young officers and not so young have been wasted in their quest to defend us. While I acknowledge this laudable effort and the progress that have been made, I think it's important that we remind the armed forces that each day a Nigerian is kidnapped, particularly near a military facility. Our people feel discouraged. In Okwela, where we have 2 giant cement factories, 6 civil defense officers were felled by kidnappers, 6 of them, in warfare swap because they were protecting the expatriates working in that factory and they managed to escape with one or two of those expatriates. But the men in uniform, civil defense, pay with their life, 6 of them. And that is why I have difficulties in no one can downplay that men in uniform and women in uniform are fighting hard to protect us. We just need to urge them to refocus, to re-strategize, and to recognize that if we are making gain in any war part and the criminals are migrating to another part, that is not a total gain. There has to be a strategy. I am limited by the fact that I can't lay claim to any knowledge of security. If you are pouring water from one side, it will be moving to the other side. So we need to cage them. There has to be a concerted effort to cage from the south, so they don't migrate to the south, as well as keep pushing them from the north so that you cage them at the center and find a ways and means of wasting them. Otherwise, my fear is that each time something happens near an army installation, people say, if this can happen near a military barrack, what about those of us who don't even have military installation? But I want to acknowledge what the armed forces are doing. I want to acknowledge the progress that have been made, but they need to be reminded that they need to work harder. And that is why I was a bit worried last week when a former chief of defense staff published a book called The Stars. I wasn't quite sure what to make out of his interview the following day, when he seeks, in my view, to almost suggest that it's a political something. I think the armed forces have a duty to stick to their mandate, focus on the job at hand, and ensure that they do not allow distractions. I don't think this thing is just political. I think there are people who are determined to make money. They found kidnapping as rewarding. They find, yes, you kidnap somebody, you pay, regardless of what the government might say. Individual family people are unable to resist paying a ransom, and every ransom you pay is an incentive for more people, for these people to go back and kidnap again. But I want to salute the armed forces and urge them through your leadership, sir, that there is still much more to be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Because of time, we have to use 1 minute. Distinguished Senator Ekong Samson, yes.
I thank Mr. President for giving me the floor. I want to express my very deep concern over this lingering issue. In fact, on the floor here, it has become almost like a boring pastime. The tide of lamentations on issues of insecurity. And one wonders, with the gains of technology, why are we having this lingering crisis? I think the time has come more than ever before for us to rise and face this challenge headlong. And we shouldn't bring in politics. This is one issue that threatens the very fabric of our existence. One salutes the very bold efforts of our armed forces. But then we must appreciate the fact that security is everybody's concern, and that we cannot make any meaningful progress if we remain in the straits as we are. So on behalf of Kwara South, I want to align that the migrant in Kwara is a toothache in Akwa Ibom. No part of this country is safe when another part is in trouble. So there's a clear need for us to look at this issue from a very broad perspective and approach the concern with every seriousness that this deserves. Once again, I'm worried that with the wonders of technology, we are still facing this crisis. Because this clearly is a setback to us. But I believe that if we approach this issue as a collective, and then we strengthen our grassroots, I said earlier on the floor that once we strengthen our government system, we have had a pathway to fighting insecurity. Our grassroots, where these criminals come from. So every effort must be done to strengthen the machinery of government at the grassroots, and then we, as a people, must see these measles, because this has become a measles spreading very fast, and no part of this country is spared the agony of these measles. So, as a Senate, we have to work as a team, put aside politics, and address the major concern that this issue confronts us as a country. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator Garba.
Thank you very much, the Senate President, distinguished colleague, for this privilege. Thank you very much, the mover, for this motion. Your Excellency, I will not say much, but you remember when we confirmed the service chiefs, we vehemently agreed that we should set KPI for them and they should be reporting. Unfortunately, those KPIs were not set and no report is coming. Simply because you send us in the mass media that you kill 10 terrorists or 100 terrorists, it's not a report. You have to liberate areas so that we can see. Last time I reported in this Senate that progress has been achieved, and we were very grateful to the President and the armed forces. But unfortunately, Your Excellency, this progress is being marred. There is a renewed resurgence. Just in the last 2 months, Your Excellency, we know where the terrorists are gathering. It's in the public domain. Ordinary Nigerians need to see action. But today they will tell us they are here, tomorrow they are here. Everybody knows within our area. But we will not see any action taking place. That is to say, sir, we need this Senate to tell the armed forces to be reporting progress every week so that state by state, otherwise it will be a mess of all issues and we will not be seeing progress. Sir, I beg you that time is right now, that this problem is solvable. We have seen progress. We should not allow this progress to be derailed. We should pursue this remnant of these people so that our next election can be peaceful and sustainable. And we have something to sell to our people, sir. This is the only thing I want to take. If I get protected in my environment, please keep your roads, keep your schools. We just want to be safe. And that is the message we are sending to the Senate President. Please, save our life and our people. We are not bothered about roads now or schools. Please, save our lives. Our people's lives are in danger. Thank you very much, sir.
Senator Mustafa Salim.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Saliu Mustafa, representing Kwara Central. I want to lend my voice to this urgent debate on the floor today, ably moved by Senator Lola Ashiru, who happens to be my colleague, my brother from the same state. I represent Kwara Central, he represents Kwara South. Sir, if anything happens in Kwara South or Kwara North, it's as good as happening in Kwara Central, because we are from the same state and our people are interwoven. There is no gainsay here to say maybe it's affecting Kwara South, so it doesn't bother me. No. We are interwoven in so many aspects. And that is how it also extends to the other parts of the country. We've had series of complaints, debate, concerns over insecurity in this country. I think, sir, it is time we stop all the rhetorics and all hands must be on deck. Be you in government, be you outside government, the security of lives and properties in one way or the other will definitely affect you. So we must not play politics with it. All we should do now is to try and see how solutions can be profiled, especially also putting the nation, our leaders in prayers, because any bad decision taken by leaders in government will definitely affect all of us. So it's not time to blame anybody. For me, banditry, kidnapping, we must categorize them as criminal activities. There is no religion, there is no tribe, there is no ethnicity that harbors this. Anybody caught should be dealt with as a criminal. If we approach it from that angle, without sentiment, without emotion, I think we will go a long way in resolving these issues. The security agencies are doing their best. We must applaud them. The president is doing his best. Those of us here too are doing our best in trying to oversight and make sure the voice of our people are heard. So we should please put all hands on deck and address this thing as criminal activities. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Senator Sadiq Umar.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues. I am Sadiq Suleiman Umar. I represent Kwara North. Mr. President, let me first thank our colleague, Senator Lala Ashiru, for bringing this to the Senate attention once again. Mr. President, my distinguished colleague, we've gone around this repeatedly, and for information, Kwara, we benefited from very good peace for a long time until the bandits and kidnappers started seeping in from the borders, and they started from my area, actually the Kwara North. Alhamdulillah, the government of Kwara State, the federal government, there has been good collaboration and effort, and that side is being, brought under control. Now they have moved to Kwara South again, and my sympathy to our people in Kwara South, because there has been a lot of suffering in that senatorial district as well. But the state government and the federal government are collaborating with the military structures as well as local vigilantes to see that this is brought to an end finally. However, Mr. President, while we represent our people and bring up what happens to them, the key tool we have as a legislature constitutionally is our investigative powers and our oversight function. And I think we need to bite harder. Our security committees, they need to be grilled better. They need to give us updates more regularly. Let's understand, what are the gaps? What do they need from us? As far as I'm concerned, as a National Assembly, we've been supporting these institutions. And of course, we hear various conspiracy theories that there are some people benefiting from this. Why shouldn't we know who these people are? These are the things we should pay attention to, Mr. President, and so that we can bring this to an end finally. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
The Senator Mongolo.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno Senatorial District. I think Mr. President deliberately decided to allocate a lot of time for this debate and identify as many senators as possible to contribute their widow's mite towards this debate because of the primacy of security to governance. The primary objective of any government is to guarantee peace, order, and good governance. And it is clearly and unambiguously stated in the Constitution, which is the grand norm of the land. So, Mr. President, we sincerely thank you for giving a lot of time and identifying as many senators as possible to speak on this matter. This is a clear manifestation of the fact that this Senate is responsible and responsive to the yearnings and aspirations and concerns of Nigerians. Mr. President, distinguished senators, the trajectory of the movement of insecurity in this country, if not nipped in the bud, has the potential of consuming the whole country. This problem of insecurity initially started in Borno State. It later on snowballed into the whole of the Northeast. It migrated to the North Central and is now migrated also to some part of the Southwest. So it has a Northwest, it has also consumed the Northwest completely. So it has clearly shown that it has the potential of consuming the whole country. Our military and our armed forces are doing enough. They are doing their best. But we still need them to do more, even with regard within the limited constraints of resources that they have at their disposal. In the process of this fighting this war, a lot of them have paid the supreme price and what have you. But that notwithstanding, we still expect more from them. And as a parliament that is responsible and responsive to the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians that gave us the mandate to serve them, we are going to give them all the wherewithals for them to execute this war by way of appropriation and other legislative interventions. So I support this motion wholeheartedly and adopt all the prayers contained therein. Thank you.
Distinguished Deputy Senate President.
Mr. President, I stand to lend my voice to all aspects of this motion. In that regard, I extend my sympathy and condolences, especially to those who lost their lives, the family of those who lost their lives, and those who got injured, and even kidnapped in what is happening in Kwara South as we speak, particularly in Ifelo Dun local government. Mr. President, it's a sad commentary on happenings in this country, even though Mr. President is doing his best. Mr. President is doing his best. That we know, because we know how much he's doing to deal with the situation in our country, which has global dimension. The problem in security is not confined to Nigeria alone. Look at our neighbors, starting from Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, even Guinea, even Cameroon, Benin Republic. This is something that has global dimension everywhere. And the president is doing very hard. Our armed forces, our gallant men and women in uniform, are doing very well to deal with the situation. And I'm sure they'll get into the root of this matter, what's happening, and deal and put decisive, go in there and do their best in dealing with the situation. It is sad, particularly those who are kidnapped as we speak. I think the first thing is to try to get them rescued. Rescue these people. And I'm sure our gallant men and women in uniform will do what is really expected of them. I'm sure their attention probably is somewhere that things have been going on to deal with. Well, you see, Kaduna, things are now going very fine there. No more banditry and what have you. Even Zamfara is being dealt with, and some other areas. They are doing very well. Around the country, they are trying very well. These criminals, when you understand that you have taken action somewhere, you are succeeding somewhere, they will now move and divert your attention somewhere. And that's what's happening, I'm sure. Because Kaduna now, which has been the epicenter of the problem has been dealt with decisively. Also Niger, we no longer hear about Hassan Musa is not shouting here every day because always we see him coming with motions. But now I think the matter has been dealt with, and some progress is being made in dealing with them. And that's why probably they've now moved to some parts of Kwara State and creating mayhem. And I'm sure our military, our men and women in uniform are up to their game. They will respond appropriately. They will respond decisively, and we're sure that we're proud of them. They are doing very well to safeguard our lives and property. I'm sure they're going to do that. They know all these games. They know how these criminals try to divert their attention. And I'm sure they will catch them. The long arm of the law will get them arrested, and they'll be brought to justice. Mr. President, we stand by these people of Kwara, we stand by with the people of Philadelphia shoulder to shoulder. And we always do our best to make sure that their problems are solved. And the place will become peaceful, very peaceful as it used to be. Mr. President, I call all our colleagues to please rally around this motion so that it gets through. Thank you, Mr. President.
Honestly, distinguished colleagues, I know that more people still want to talk, but the reality is why I allowed so many to contribute is that I know at least 9 senators who brought motions connected with insecurity today. So I'm using this motion as a point of contact to answer all the other ones that we cannot accommodate today. So this will be the last motion, and we'll just move on to other things. That was why I said everybody should talk. It's still going to be the same thing. So let's quickly just run into the prayers. And thereafter, remember that some committees are meeting with their Ghanaian counterpart in the office of the Deputy Senate President. And then the Russian ambassador will be around by 3 o'clock. So we met, and today was also partly ceremonial as a result of the swearing in of our colleagues who are yearning for us to join them in their receptions. And we have to also allow them to go and receive their constituents who came to celebrate with them. So we may have to rush and postpone some of the things we would have done today and move them forward to tomorrow. So let's go into the prayers. Senator Ashiru. Prayer 1, urge the federal government to establish a permanent military base in Kwara South Senatorial District near the forest belts of Ifelodun as a rapid response hub and mandate the Chief of Defense Staff, Inspector General of Police, to deploy additional troops and special units to clear the forests and restore normalcy in the affected communities. Those in support of prayer 1 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2, call on a National Emergency Management Agency to immediately provide humanitarian relief to displaced persons. Those in support of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3, direct relevant security agencies to identify and prosecute local collaborators aiding bandits' operations in Kwara South and other affected areas in the country. Those in support of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 4, mandate the Senate Committees on Defense, Police Affairs, and National Security and Intelligence to undertake an on-the-spot assessment of some affected areas and report back within 2 weeks, and mandate the Senate to invite the Minister of Defense, Chief of Army Staff, and Inspector General of Police to brief the Senate in plenary on the coordinated federal response to insecurity in Kwara and other areas so affected. Those in support of prayer 4 as amended say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 5, observe 1 minute silence in honor of the forest guards and vigilantes, traditional leaders and innocent citizens who lost their lives to bandits' attacks in Kwara South Senatorial District and other affected areas in the country. Those in support of prayer 5 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. May we rise for 1 minute silence in honor of the dead. May the souls of the affected vigilantes, 12 of them, forest guards, and others who lost their lives, the bandits and insecurity in the various parts of the country, particularly in Kwara South, rest in perfect peace. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the first business of the day is presentation of a House bill standing in the name of Senate Leader on Nigerian Weights and Measure Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2025 HB 614. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Nigerian Ways and Measures Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2025 HB 614, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Nigeria Ways and Measures Regulatory Agency Establishment Bill 2025, HB 614, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished colleague, the second business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Simon Bakola Long on the Electoral Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025 SB 903. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Electoral Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2025 SB 903, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Electoral Act 2022, Repeal and Re-Enactment Bill 2025 SB 903, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the third business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Joel Onawapo Thomas on the Oil and Gas Content Development Institute, MAD, Delta State, Establishment Bill 2024 SB 904. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Oil and Gas Content Development Institute, MAD, Delta State, Establishment Bill 2025 SB 904, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Oil and Gas Content Development Institute, MEDE, in Delta State Establishment Bill 2025 SB 904, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fourth business of the day is presentation of bill standing in the name of Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adeola Solomon on the Petroleum Industry Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 905. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Petroleum Industry Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 905, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Petroleum Industry Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 905, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the fifth business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Distinguished Senator Barau Jubrin on the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2025 SB 907. Mr. President, you may wish to invite the Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2025 SB 970, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Alteration Bill 2025 SB 907, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, the sixth business of the day is presentation of a bill standing in the name of Senator Abba Moro Patrick on University Teaching Hospital Reconstitution of Board ETC Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 908. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Clerk of Senate to read the short title of the bill.
Clerk of the Senate.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, University Teaching Hospital, reconstitution of board, etc. Act Amendment Bill 2025 SB 908, first reading.
Distinguished colleagues, University Teaching Hospitals Reconstitution of Boards, etc. Amendment Bill 2025 SB 908, first reading taken. Leader of the Senate.
Your Excellency, Mr. Senate President, I will want to seek your indulgence for us to step down all other items because of auspiciousness of the moment and the fact that there are a lot of activities to shift it to the next legislative day. I stand to move a motion that we step down all other items to the next legislative day.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to second the motion that the Senate stands down all other matters to the next legislative day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, the motion has been moved and seconded that in view of the partly ceremonial nature of today and the items we have and our visiting colleagues from Ghana and other issues, that we stand down the remaining items on the other paper to another legislative date. Those in support of the motion as moved and seconded say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. All the other items are hereby suspended to another legislative date. Leader of the Senate.
Mr. President, I move a motion that this Senate be adjourned till Thursday, the 9th October 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt. I so move.
Minority Leader.
I second the motion that the Senate adjourns till tomorrow 11 a.m. for the next legislative day. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded that we do adjourn today's sitting, having exhausted all items on the other paper to Thursday, the 9th day of October 2025 at 11 a.m. prompt. Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The Senate is hereby adjourned.
You not go and rest. Steven Bakini now. Steven mute now.
I mean, I go squeeze your this deal. Why are you disturbing? Calm down.
Go now. Yeah, go. I cannot defend. Sorry, my sister. This